Good evening out there. This Mike Melton back in the Spotlight Podcast Live, episode 36, with a very, very special guest tonight. We got Tyus Battle in the building, man. What's up, Tyus? How you doing, man?
What's up? Doing well.
Thanks for coming on, man. This is truly a pleasure, man. And first I'm gonna start off by this whole program by thanking you, man. You were one of the cornerstones of Basketball Spotlight in the beginning, and talented players like yourself, and I had on Saeed Nelson, I had on RJ Cole, Otis Livingston. You guys were so talented at such a young age. It gave validity to what I had going on, to my website, and to the art, to the website, and to the tournaments. You know what I'm saying? So I'm writing about you guys. And then when the world actually got the chance to see y'all play at such young ages, they said, maybe this guy might know a little bit what he's talking about. so I want to thank you guys, man, for coming on at such a young age and playing, man. And it's been always a dandy, man. So thanks for coming on, man. Tell your father much love to him and the rest of your family, man. So how you been doing, man?
I'm doing well. I just want to thank you because, with the whole spotlight and how, that pretty much started my whole basketball journey. I think we first got into the spotlight maybe when I was 10 years old. And, from there on, that I think playing against those kids like Jameer, Saeed, Otis, developing those relationships really helped me fall in love with the game of basketball and, really kickstart my career.
So let's get started, man. This episode of In the Spotlight Podcast has been brought to you by A Game Hoops. Check out my man Carl Hines at A Games Hoops, man. Got the hottest tournaments in the country, and you can get your athletic gear at A Game Hoops also, man. AGameHoops.com. Carl Hines, the biggest tournaments in the country right now. And if you want the hottest gear for your basketball team, check out his events and at AGameHoops.com, man. And, Carl is one of our dear sponsors for Basketball Spotlight for some of our events. So make sure you go over there and check it out, man. All right, Tyus, man, let's get at it, man. Talk about growing up in Edison, New Jersey, man. And how was life as a kid?
Life was good. I come from a basketball family. Dad played, brother plays, mom played a little bit in high school and stuff like that. So from the beginning, I knew, like, my dad knew I had to play a sport, some sport. He didn't know it was going to be basketball or not. I started off, really enjoying baseball. I did not want to play basketball at first, but around the age of 6, my dad got me out there, brought me with some ice cream. I did 15 minutes of ball handling. He'll take me to go get some ice cream. So I started off from there. I started attending, like, small basketball camps around the area. And then, the enjoyment for the game really started to grow from there.
So while you were playing, when did you know that you might have something special?
Honestly, I really started to figure out, because I was a good player growing up, from, 9, 8 years old, 9 years old. I would play travel tournaments around the area, play well. My dad ran basketball camps, battle basketball in Woodbridge. So he would have a ton of kids in the area come. I'll be playing one-on-ones all day, one-on-ones with the older kids, stuff like that. But I didn't really see myself saying to myself, like, okay, I could do this at the next level until I got on the national level. And that's when
we're gonna definitely get there. Yeah, we're gonna definitely get there. I had to snatch this joint from when you did Die with a Baller.
Yeah,
I got library. I got library stuff from you guys, man.
Yeah, me and Jameer back in the day. I actually remember this because me and Jameer, first time I met Jameer, we were I know my dad got in contact with his dad, and I remember my dad was like, this is a good player in the area. And for me, I'm always a competitive kid, so, like, a good player, I'm ready to play, one-on-one, stuff like that. So we actually met at it was a middle school, I think, in Metuchen, and he was playing travel basketball, and it started from there. That's how it started.
Indeed, the early years, man.
Mhm.
Speaking of team battle and battle basketball, what was the origin of creating team battle?
Well, it first started off as a basketball camp. So my dad would
Okay.
do, he started doing basketball camps in Woodbridge, and then we would go around at different schools, promoting the camp. I would be doing like ball handling drills in front of like high school kids and stuff like that. So it was kind of crazy. So I was like 8 years old, doing like the spider drill, 2 ball handling drills and stuff like that. So he was really, promoting the camp. And then as we started getting kids that were good in the area. That's when I met Jameer, Darius, my dog, Jameer, Darius. I think he was like, okay, let's develop this into a basketball team and an AAU team. And I think that's where it started from there.
And then I saw you guys. I remember going to Perth Amboy or something for the States.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time I saw you guys. And I saw your dad, and I went up to him like, yo, who's number 23? Like, that's my son. I'm like, that's your son? He was like, yeah. I said, yo, he kind of nice. And we started talking from there. Then I invited him to the kind of my tournaments, the Memorial Day Classic. All that right there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Came down, and then the rest was history, man. It was just like, it just was hit from the beginning, man. Talk about that 10-year-old team y'all had and some of the great memories y'all had, man.
Man, that was one of the first. I think that was our first year doing the state tournament. And I still talk to these guys to this day. So I mean, I met so many amazing people from this 10-year-old team that are lifelong friends. And I still remember that feeling when the state championship. I mean, it was a special feeling. It was a special feeling. And I think at a young age too, like I hated losing. Like it just didn't sit well with me. So, and that feeling of winning and just having the feeling being like, okay, we're the best team in the state out of our age group was a great feeling for us.
That's when the states was serious back then, man. It was something serious.
Yeah,
and y'all used to battle faces all the time, and it was
yeah. We had some games with faces back in the day.
Indeed, man. And you remember that MVP picture right there, that Miss Memorial Day picture right there?
I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah. I think that was our first. Was that our first tournament at the Spotlight?
Yeah, that's because it was still called Rebounds then.
Yeah. So I mean, I think when we got to the Spotlight, that's when we started seeing teams from outside New Jersey a little bit more.
Yeah,
I just remember like that first year, it was my first time playing against kids from everywhere. Like I remember our first tournament, we were in one of our first tournaments. We were in Philly. I think it was our first championship we won. We were in Philly. We played New Heights a couple games before, lost to them, and we were thinking we weren't going to make it to the championship round. But I guess something happened with the pool play or whatever, and we ended up playing them again in the championship. We won the championship. That was our first championship we ever won for a team battle. And my dad, my dad, he's a competitive guy. So he took all of us. He took all of us up to the Rocky stairs, ran up the stairs like in the Rocky movies and everything else like that. And that was, from there on.
He always had those kind of things, man. I'm about to show you something. I remember having y'all come up for this joint right here that I did, man. This was a classic joint right here.
Get the ball in the middle. Everybody got to take.
You remember this joint?
I do.
That's not the way we play the game. We're not shoot the ball. We got to score one.
Nobody wasn't doing commercials back then, man.
Man, this was.
Shout out. It's 82 once you go. We go 1-3-1. That's been high low. 2-3-7.
If you think you're the best out there from wherever you come from, come to Spotlight.
You try to get the spotlight, not by just, ball hogging, but getting your teammates involved and things like that.
If I'm not on a good shooting night, I will look to create and pass the ball and play good defense and still work hard.
But we want to really focus on kids
staying focused on the level of whatever level, the highest level they can reach for.
But we have to play defense. We have to try to get these thumbs up.
Hey,
Yo, that was the years back there, man. Everybody
this is
throw
the
now.
probably the only tournament in the tri-state area where you can come in your backyard and you have teams coming to you.
If my team playing in, cupcake tournaments in Kentucky and beating teams by 20 or 40, they not getting a real picture.
You think you're the best from Kentucky? Go against the best from New York.
South Carolina.
Go against the best from Baltimore.
Good back.
Then it'll show you where you at.
Make sure you spread the floor and spread it wide. Stop the ball. Don't just run to the spot.
I hope for the most part that they understand that they can meet other people from all over the country that they wouldn't never normally get a chance to meet.
We really try to focus on getting, being prepared to play against the top talent in the country. On, go hard, body first.
It actually makes me better to play against other great players.
Every kid loves that. Young kid, high school, everybody loves that.
Y'all got to continue to play deep. Get the defense to crack, so then we can.
Man.
Them was the years, man.
Man,
I had to
memories
pull that
back
out.
then,
You was
right?
such a baby on there, bro. You was
Man.
so young on there, man.
That's that was my first ever interview too. Like actual camera on my face. And I remember my dad told me, it's like, all right, you gotta go do this interview upstairs. Man, I was nervous. I was nervous. And growing up, I was always kind of a shy kid. So that was for that being that my first interview, and I was nervous that interview.
Them was the years though, man. Them was the years.
Definitely.
And then that next year came around, man. That 11U year, y'all had that run, man. And talk about like what improvements of the team y'all brought. That's when y'all won the Clash of the Cup. That's when you won Player of the Year. I got we're gonna get into the nationals and all like that, but talk about how the team gelled even more that next year.
Well, it's crazy because I mean that for my 10U year, that was the year we went to because I think when you win states, you have to qualify to go to nationals. So that was the first year we went to nationals. We played all right, and it was our first time on that stage. But I remember we lost. We ended up not making it that far. But my dad huddled us up and he was like, next year we're gonna make a run. So then our 11U team happened, and this team was special. I mean, I think we all gelled well. We had a year under our belts, and then we won states. I know that's when we were like running through the basketball spotlight tournaments. And, we were that, so then nationals came around and we ended up making I think we finished third in the country.
I remember y'all played Keenan Black in them the Final Four, right?
Yep. So we finished third in the country, and I think at that point I really knew like, okay, this is like a special moment for us, and we had some very good players on that team. How
did it feel being in 5th grade, man, 11 years old, and then being thrusted, and as an adult, when you look at it now, being thrusted into like the national spotlight? Because I had the website rolling then, and you was garnering a lot of attention. Did you ever feel like it was like too much pressure?
I mean, honestly, I felt like I didn't think it was too much pressure. I think I enjoyed it. And honestly, to this day, like I'm always better when it's under pressure situations. Like I think so I think growing up, I mean, and when you're at that level, it's harder because guys are always trying to give you their best shot. So you always gotta be ready to play, always gotta be locked in. And I mean, not just me. I mean, the whole team. Every game, we were locked.
Oh yeah, y'all became Mike Melton team. That's your favorite team. That's what they used to tell me. That some of the coaches and the parents and stuff. You always team battle your squad and this and that. And blah, blah.
That's what happens when you win games, though. You win the game, start winning stuff. That's what happens. So
somebody, I posted on Facebook today that you was gonna be on, and one of the dudes that used the ref said, "I remember him. I had to read about him after every tournament."
That's funny. That is hilarious.
Yeah, man. So you guys won team of the year that year, of course, you know, spending number 3 in the country, man. And what else do you remember special about that squad right there?
I remember that I think even that year, so we won states at our level that last year, but then the next year we played 11 U states and then we played 12 U states and we won both. So we were really challenging ourselves, and I mean, we had a really good squad, and the thing is, we just enjoyed playing with each other. I mean, and looking back on it, I'm 26 now. Even I talked to Jameer, we talked about this stuff. Like, these were the best years of our lives. You know,
I know everything was way more innocent before all the sneaker companies got involved. Everybody was playing for they squad, like they, you know what I'm saying? It was just a lot of more hunger. And it just became too business now.
Yeah. I mean, we were just playing because we loved the game of basketball, you know, and we were just competing out there, you know. It was a lot of fun,
Indeed, man. Now let's get to the 12U squad. Your dad came through when y'all won the state. They had the suits on. I said, yo, this dude came through. Everybody had suits on and everything. I said, this dude was wilding, man.
Yeah. I know. We got a lot of people didn't love that, but looking back on it now, I think it's hilarious. We still talk about it. Like, they really used to come to the tournaments. Like Mr. Harris, Coach Harris, Nate's dad, all dressed up in suits. And this squad, we were good. I think this was our most complete team, I would say. Well, it was definitely our most complete team. And honestly, we thought we were the best team in the country at this point.
Oh, yeah, we're going to definitely get to that.
Yeah. We thought we were the best team in the country at this point.
And I remember that squad, and I remember y'all running through the tournament. Y'all had y'all squad, and I remember, man, right before y'all was getting to the nationals, man, had a no, it was before that. It was before that, right? Because we're gonna get to the national part. Y'all finished 5th in the country at the nationals, and the joint was loaded. Yeah. Jason Tatum was down there. Darren Fox, Bam, Harry Giles, Seven Woods, Anthony Cowan. And I just remember from that nationals, that was like one of the first ones that I never went to my room, like for the whole day. It was so many good players and so many good games going on. You know what I mean? I remember the Bully destroyed DC Assault down there. Rakim was on a different level that year.
Yeah, he was. He was a grown man at that point. He was.
Yeah. Now, taking you back to what I remember, right? I went to. Remember the Cavaliers team from out of Cleveland that won the Nationals when y'all was in 5th grade?
Yep.
I went to their tournament, right? And I saw the Rice Warriors with Fox in them, right? They won that tournament. When I got home, I called your dad, bro. And I told your dad, listen to me very carefully. I think y'all can win the national title, but y'all don't need to run up against the Rice Warriors. And he was like, what you mean? I said, they like faces on steroids. I said, and faces give y'all some problems.
They do.
Bro, do not, under any circumstances, don't run up against the Rice Warriors. So now, right, listen, I'm going to tell you what happens when we get the nationals, when y'all get down to nationals, right? Now, I'm looking at the bracket, right? Now, I'm already like, put my favorites, who gonna win, this and this, blah, 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 blah. I called your dad. I said, listen to me very carefully. Your last game in the pool play, I want you to forfeit because I don't want y'all to see them in the what's the name. I'm telling you they're a problem, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And of course your dad wasn't trying to hear.
Nah. You weren't trying to lose no games out there.
Yo, because I saw a team do that before. I saw what's the point guard from Jaleel Okafor and the point guard Ulyss, right? Okay. They played for Arkansas in the 12U Nationals. They won their first 2 pool games.
Yeah.
So they was gonna advance anyway, right? They forfeited their last game, and it put them on another side of the bracket where they didn't have to run into a team that was real familiar with them. That team got knocked out, and they ended up winning the national title.
Mm.
I saw somebody do that before, but Gary Battle wasn't trying to.
He's not doing that. You already know he's not doing that.
So talk about how that Nationals was, man, down there playing with that was probably the most loaded Nationals I ever went to.
Yeah, it was loaded. I mean, I remember my first 2 games, I wasn't playing well. I think the second game I was playing against DC Assault, and first half I was playing terrible. I was kind of like sleepwalking out there. My dad. My dad's he could be a little crazy. Yeah, he could be a little crazy sometimes. So it was during a time he called a timeout and he like yoked me up by my jersey. He was like, wake up.
I remember that.
My grandma's up in the stands. Yelling at my dad saying, get your hands off him. Get your hands off him. And then from that on, I mean, and sometimes, I needed that. But from that moment on, it was just like I was out there trying to kill everybody. And I think we made a good and that's one thing, I think a lot of people miss, my dad, he was tough on everybody. He was tough on everybody. I mean, and he said things how it was. He didn't sugarcoat anything. So, I mean, from that moment on, it woke us up, woke my team up, and I think for my teammates to see my dad getting on me like that, it was like, okay, if he's gonna do that to him, he'll definitely do it to us too. So, and we just started running through teams, being teams about 30, 20, beat the team. This team in Cali that was supposed to be really good. They had Derek Thornton and stuff like that. We blew them out by 30. And then we run into De'Aaron Fox's team in the semifinals, I think. Oh, no.
No, the Elite Eight.
It was right before, but yeah, Elite Eight.
Yeah.
And we just didn't play well. They were pressing full court, and like you said, they were like faces, but they were more athletic. They were bigger.
When I saw them didn't even use basketballs doing warm-ups. They did no offensive drills doing their warm-ups. They did all defensive drills. And that's why I told your dad, bro, they're gonna be a problem.
Yeah. and it was just like we just couldn't really get into a rhythm. And I remember at the end of the game, I think we were up by 1, maybe. We were up by 1 point. And we just needed one stop. I think someone comes down, shoots a jump shot. He misses, and then De'Aaron Fox comes out of nowhere. He got so high at that age, 12 years old, he could have dunked the ball. And tips the ball back in, and they beat us at the buzzer. But,
I remember, and they had Carson Edwards.
Yeah, Carson Edwards too. Yeah.
Players right on there, and they had the other guard that went to Texas A&M. They had a squad, and they just was like in tip-top shape, and the type of defense they played was ridiculous, man.
Nah, they had a squad. But I mean, that 12-year-old team I played on, we were very good. I mean, that's when we added Vaughn, we added Brad.
Yep.
So we added some guys, and we were just we were good that year. But unfortunately, you know how basketball goes. It's little plays happen, and that's a wrap. So.
What I respected about your dad on that joint was the discipline he had with you guys, when the way y'all would come in, the way y'all was dressed, the way y'all all sat together. But more importantly, when y'all had that heartbreak loss to the Warriors, how he regrouped y'all to still finish number 5. Like some teams after that kind of loss, it would have been over.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah,
you hear what I'm saying? Like they wouldn't have had that fortitude to try to finish number 5. They probably would have just went out there and just been like, "We can't win the title, so like, what are we playing for?" Y'all came back the next game. Y'all was super focused. And he helped y'all get the number 5 in the country. I saw that. I said, I had to respect that. He helped y'all bounce back and get focused, man. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, and that's the thing too. Like we were so regimented. Like we ate together, did everything together as a team. I remember people used to come over to my house. The whole team used to come over to my house. We would jog like 2 miles together. We were really a family. And that's what allowed us to play so well together. We just didn't meet up just for the tournaments. You know, and I think a lot of AAU teams do that. But if you really want to build a team, you really it's truly a family. It really is. So, and that's why I have so many amazing memories about those AAU days.
I got another joint in my highlight joint from when you was young, man, that I'm about to bring out. So if you remember this joint, it's crazy. Look at Saeed.
Yeah. Oh,
Look how
man.
young y'all was, man. That was crazy. Man. Now pull up. When was the years, man?
Yeah. Oh, man.
When was the years, man?
The years, man. It's crazy. Crazy. It really does fly by. It really does.
Yes, it does fly by, man. It definitely flies by, man. And so then after that, man, you went over the team final. The whole battle thing blew up. Now you've been 26 now, and looking back at it, do you think that like the early success y'all had and the early success you had, did it cause some kind of thing where it made people not want to come play with your team no more? Like, what do you think happened to cause that to happen, and then you go over the team final?
I mean, I'm not really sure, but obviously, I mean, especially now that I'm older and I got a little sister who's going through the AAU stuff herself. You gotta do what's best for your own basketball career and your kids' basketball career. So it's not like, I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, it was bigger than basketball with that whole team, with those relationships that we had and still have to this day. And even the guys who left, I mean, I still kept in contact with them. And it was, you got at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for your basketball career. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Team final was your introduction to the whole Nike system and things and that. And how was your time with them? I know you played a lot playing up and playing with some of the different teams they had. How was your experience playing with them?
It was good. It was good. I mean, Rob Brown does an amazing job with that program. And like you said, that was my first time really playing up. I played up a lot during those times. And I think it just helped me prepare for like the next level. I mean, that was my first time really, coming off the bench, dealing with some adversity at the older level at least. But as athletes, as human beings, we all got to go through that at some point. So it was good that I learned that at a young age, and that early success, you got to prove it every time you're on the floor. It don't matter. It don't matter what age group, who's in front of you. You got to prove it every time you step on the floor.
Indeed, man. That's definitely a good way to look at it, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You was one of the few players that did the diary for the whole year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? After that, I think I started breaking it up, picking like a certain amount of players, and then they do like 8 weeks a piece or something that. You know what I'm saying? How was that experience, bro, doing that for all of those weeks, man?
I mean, it was good. It was good. I mean, and it gave, I mean, at this point, my name was at the younger level. It was out there, and it gave, people an insight of my life. Because I think a lot of times, especially younger kids, they look up to these kids, are like, oh, he's this player, he's that player. But at the end of the day, you know, I get home, I'm playing video games just like anybody else, like, you know, stuff like that. Like, so it was a good thing just to show people like what I did throughout my day to day.
You got me thinking I'm about to go start reading some of these old diaries of kids and stuff, like just to see how they are now and just laugh about. I remember one time your dad got mad and threw your phone.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Yo, I remember that, man. Now you got me thinking about those old days, man. When I used to be on the phone with him, and he used to be like, "Man, I had to do." I see like, "Calm down, man. You gotta calm down."
Hey, between my dad and RJ's dad, I don't know.
I know, man.
Man.
Sum up your experience of playing in basketball spotlight events, man. You played in a ton of them. You know what I mean? Some showcase games, the all-star games. You know what I mean? Sum up your experience of playing in those events.
I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, it really, especially at that time, that was my first time playing against kids from outside New Jersey, kids from DC, Kentucky, you know, New York, PA. So you're playing against some of the best teams in the country at that moment, at that time. And, you know, as a young kid at those events, you really develop those relationships that I have that you keep, you know, until you're older, you know, and it's nice seeing like kids going through different stages of the career, middle school, high school, college, professionally. And a lot of these kids, we still, you know, reminisce on these basketball spotlight days. So it was a lot of fun.
You know, I gotta play the joint that capped it off for y'all, man. Y'all last event, man, that capped everything off, man. This joint was crazy, especially the kind of show Unique had put on, man.
Oh yeah.
This is why it's dope to have stuff on video, man.
It is. Unique was athletic, man.
Look at the Lonnie Moore, man. Waco. Wow. Tyrese.
That's a shooter.
Anthony Cohen Jr.
He shot that one from Maryland.
Right.
Aiken.
Good move. Y'all had so much talent,
man. And you know, it's funny because when you look back at that, a lot of players we play the same exact way today. You know,
I know.
You move the same way as eighth graders. So that's funny.
I know, but the funny part was, the crazy part is when I be looking at when I used to watch y'all play in college, bro, and I used to be sitting there like saying y'all playing against each other. I just like, this is crazy.
Crazy. Man.
This is crazy, man. Next up, man, it was time for you to pick a high school.
Mm-hmm.
And you went to Gill St. Bernard's with my man Mergen Cena, man. How did this selection come about? You know what I mean? Because when your dad called me and told me this was gonna be it, I was kind of surprised. I thought you was a lock to go to St. Joe's.
Yeah. I mean, St. Joe's, they had a really good squad. They had Carl, they had Wade, they had Marcus Towns. So they, at that point, I don't think Breen was there yet. So they had a really good squad. But at the end of the day, I chose St. Joe's. I mean, going into St. Joe's, we were nationally ranked. I'm pretty sure we're nationally ranked. I mean, we had Jaron Cena who was there.
No, you mean Gill?
I mean, Gill. We had Jaron who was there, and the year before, Gill, think they went to the semis of TOC or something like that. But they had a good team. They had a really good team. I saw them play a couple of times. And for people who haven't been on Gill's campus, it looks like a college. Like I'm talking about, it's a college preparatory school. So my mom was always preached the importance of academics. They had the athletic situation together because, you know, Coach Merg, he's an amazing coach. I think he's the best offensive coach in the state of New Jersey. I mean, I think I love my time at Gill. I loved it.
Let's talk about go through your years, man. Freshman year, you averaged 12 points a game, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Talk about the adjustments you had to make to the high school game.
I mean, the biggest thing for me was I was skinny. So getting pushed around was the toughest part. I mean, the first couple of games I struggled a little bit. My first breakout game, I remember we played DeMatha. I forgot where we're at though. We played DeMatha. I had like 17 or 18 points that game, and that's when I, starting to get more confidence throughout my high school year. But freshman year for most teams, especially if you're on a good team in the state of New Jersey, it's gonna be up and down. So it was just that year's just a learning experience, and it was good though.
Come on, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. The videos out there.
Come on, man. I got this. I got that one. I do my homework. I don't tell nobody what I got until I bring it out.
Yeah, I was, man. It's crazy.
Shout out to my man Tyus. Man, Ty Kitchen having popping back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so how much confidence did that give you after having an outing like that, man?
It gave me a lot of confidence. I mean, because freshman year, like I said, it's an up and down year. You're still trying to figure yourself out. Going through puberty as a high schooler, you're dealing with a lot of stuff. So for that, and I think the biggest thing is my teammates really started trusting my ability at that point. They saw me do it on the national stage. So I think that really, they started to trust me more, and then just from the rest of the year, I just started playing a lot better.
Indeed. Get around to your sophomore year, man. Went crazy. 22.6 assists, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Somerset County Player of the Year, second team All State. What was your goal going out there during your sophomore year?
Just go out there and try to kill. That's it. I know we didn't have the team that we had the previous year. So for this year, I just want to, try to show my complete game. I had a bigger role, of course. I had to score the ball. I had to do things for us to win games. It was a lot of responsibility. I was the leader of the team at this point. So I mean, some of the games were tough. It wasn't like the year before where we're just steamrolling through everybody. We really had to play, and if I wasn't playing well, we would lose games. So, but especially as a young high schooler, I think high schoolers have to go through this. Especially if you're at a higher level, I think you need a stage of your career where you're just like, okay, if you don't play well, we're gonna lose games. So
you need that pressure.
Yeah, you need that pressure. And like I said earlier on, I loved it. So it was a fun year.
Indeed. Next up, man, junior year, man. You when did you get injured? During the summer of the sophomore year, or?
Yeah. So this year was tough for me. This is my first really, mentally tough year. Because going into that year, I think going into the year I was on USA basketball. I was playing really well. The summer ball, I was playing really well. So I'm thinking going to the junior year, I'm about to average like 28 to 30. I end up getting sesamoiditis in my foot, and that kept me out pretty much the whole season. I think I came back for 6 or 7 games, and I ended up hurting it again. So I didn't really play much this season at all. So it was tough for me.
How did you deal with it mentally, especially coming out really highly touted? And then I know like that had to take a toll, like in rankings and stuff like that. Like, how did you deal with that, like mentally and emotionally?
It was tough. It was tough. I'm not even gonna lie. It was definitely tough. You know, and first off, with the sesamoiditis, it's not like a break or something in your foot. It's just like inflammation of the bone, and it's something that it just takes time to heal. So I wasn't even sure. Like, I was thinking about doing surgery, but then they were talking about, oh, if you do surgery, you won't be able to move the same and stuff like that. So it was a tough time for me. But I honestly just spent the time in the weight room. In the weight room. I mean, I think from my sophomore year to my junior year, freshman year I was like 168. You know, sophomore year I was 185, and then junior year when I came back to play, I was 205. So I was really just focused.
You was, yeah. I remember when you came out and your senior year, you was on swole.
Yeah.
So
I just, you know, I was just trying to focus on, you know, because I just wanted to improve any way possible. So I just, you know, said if I couldn't play basketball. So I just try to get in the weight room as much as possible and work on my body.
Okay. Transfer to St. Joe's Metuchen going into the senior year. What prompted this move, and how tough was it for you to leave Gill?
It was tough for me because you know, especially a senior year, you know, you just rather just finish out, and especially with the year I had the year before, I felt like I had a lot of, you know, unfinished business at Gill. But the biggest reason I transferred to St. Joe's is because my little brother Caleb, he was going into his freshman year. And for people who don't know, Gill's in Somerset County, and I live in Edison. So I used to have a bus pick me up at 6:15, 6:30 every morning. Yeah, so I was up at 5:30 every morning trying to get to high school. So at that time, my little brother was a little younger, so I don't know if he was doing that. So my parents just wanted us to play together. You know, St. Joe's is close to home, 5 minutes from the house. And you know, we had a good squad. So that's the biggest reason I transferred.
How tough was it when you had your dad probably had the conversation with Mergen? Did you talk to him before you left?
Yeah, I spoke to him. And, you know, Coach Murray, he's a competitive guy, and you know, it was hard because it wasn't even just Coach Murray, it was my teammates, you know, stuff like that. They kind of felt like I was just leaving them, abandoning them. But you know, with time, everything heals. So you know, me and Coach Murray, we talk all the time.
That's my guy, man.
Yeah. And the biggest thing with Coach Murray is he cares. He cares. And a lot of times when people care so much, people take it the wrong way. You know, and my dad, you know, and that's why I think Coach Murray and my dad, they got along so well because they're very similar people. Yeah.
Indeed. So let's get to that senior year, man. New Jersey Gatorade Player of the Year. Averaged 19 points a game, first team All-State. Talk about that senior year, man, and what did you look for playing close to home? Like, how did it go? Yeah, give it all to us, brother.
I mean, honestly, my senior year was definitely it was up and down, I think, mentally for me. Because my senior year, I kind of had, like, when I look back at it, I kind of had one foot out the door. You know, I was ready to get on with college, get to college and play there, which I look back now and I kind of regret because I think we had a good enough team to make some things happen. But
when did you? That's interesting that you say that. When did you start thinking about having one foot out the door?
It was just more so like I was just, you know, ready to get on to the college stage. I mean, I think just because maybe transferring and everything else, I was just ready to get on with college, you know. But we had a good team. You know, I played with Brian Tyree, who's a very good player. You know, it was Caleb's freshman year. So we had a good squad. I mean, we won counties. Played some really fun games at the national level. And we ran into Saeed's team in the.
I know, I was there. I told him he was on here. I said I want neither one of y'all to lose, but somebody had to lose. Man.
We ran to his team in the States. You know, it's crazy. Saeed is way, way, way down in South Jersey, way out there. So we drove 2 hours to get to that game. And we were just not ready to play. And we played. We were not ready to play. And Saeed had an amazing game. I think Saeed had like 30.
Yeah.
I told my teammates before, I'm like, Saeed can go. I mean, he was, especially at high school, he was smaller, you know, stuff like that. But Saeed can go. So, and we just weren't ready to play. We weren't ready to play. And that's basketball.
Yeah, I was there that night, man. I was like, yo, this is tough. Because I didn't want neither one of y'all to lose. It was like this is crazy. It was just a weird feeling, but you know what I mean? It was good to see y'all compete, man. You know what I mean? So let's talk about Fight Against Fentanyl Classic, October 20th at Holy Cross in Delran. This basketball spotlight event will bring together the top players from Mercer County against the top players from South Jersey. The proceeds for this event will be donated to New Hope Behavioral Health Rehabilitation Center, where I work at for the adolescent department. And this money will be used to help our kids get extra resources and go different places so they can experience life in sobriety, and with the hopes of helping them be able to stay sober and clean once they leave our facilities. Please stay on the lookout as this event gets closer and we come out with the rosters, and we will be having a GoFundMe so you could donate to this cause if you feel to. October 20th, the Fight Against Fentanyl Classic at Delran, at Holy Cross High School in Delran, New Jersey. All right, let's get back at it, brother. Playing for your father, man. How was it? How was that experience?
I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing. I know we definitely went through our ups and downs, you know, and stuff like that. But it was amazing, special. I mean, he's really the one who put, you know, a basketball in my hands and taught me the game, you know, the whole way. You know, and of course, as we get older, you know, we start, you know, going back and forth with our dad a little bit and stuff like that. But now at the age of 26, I look back at it and I appreciate everything he did, everything. You know, he was tough, but he was honest, always there for me and my little brother and my family. You know, we would spend every day in the gym, every day, holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays, always in the gym. And he's really the reason why I started, you know, developed a love for the game of basketball.
If you looking back at it as a talented player that played for his dad, what would you say would be the age or grade level that you think a father should stop coaching their son?
I think, I mean, it really depends. It really depends on how the dad coaches you. You know, if he's tough on you, it might be a little different. You know, if he's not, if he's just letting you just do whatever you want and never tell you when you're not doing well, the good things, or you're messing up, and that's another situation. But it really depends on every player. I know my dad stepped away when I got to the high school level. When I got to the high school level, you know, so I think high school is a good age. But also during that time, I also, you know, I played with other people, played on different teams, played at different events. So it's always good. I mean, because, you know, as you get older, you just hearing the same voice in your ear the whole time.
That's what I was going to get to. When did you feel like you needed to hear a different voice?
I would say around like 13. Yeah, I would say 13, you know, because honestly, like, you already know what your dad's gonna say. You know, he said the same
yeah.
thing so many times. You know, you can say what he's gonna say word for word. So,
And it's probably hard to cut it off. You got to hear it on the way to the game,
Man.
during the game, and on the way home.
man, and on the way home, at home, you know,
And you got to hear it when he talking to me about it on the phone.
always. You know, it's crazy. The stuff I used to mess up, you know, when I was young. He'll still bring up some of those times today. Like he's the type of guy, like once he gets going and once he remembers one mistake, he starts like remembering all the mistakes. So he'll definitely remind you too.
My guy, man, my guy. Next up, man, playing for Coach Cena, man.
It was great. Like I said, I think Coach Cena is the best, you know, offensive coach in the state of New Jersey. Just like my dad, you know, people might misunderstand him a little bit or what he's trying to say or do, but both of them, they just cared so much about the kids, and you know, and they love the game of basketball. So they're a little more animated when they coach. They yell a little bit more, but I think growing up, you need that, because when you get to the college level, professional level, coaches care less about you as a person, you know, and they're just yell at you. You know, at least, you know, when you're young, high school, you know, AAU, they care. They'll yell at you, but they truly do care about you, and they want you to succeed. So it just prepares you for those moments.
Wow, that's deep right there. That's deep. USA basketball gold medal. How was that experience, man, of playing for the USA team? And like, take us through like where y'all go, where y'all stay, like the whole thing when y'all out there playing for the medal.
Yeah, it was special. I mean, my first tryout, I didn't make the team. I mean, sorry, my first tryout, that was when I had some type of injury. I couldn't practice, and then the tryout happened. I didn't make the team. So the next year, I just had that on my mind. I'm like, I'm making this team, you know, and you know, there were certain moments my dad would get on me, you know, and I remember like right before our flight, he was like, "You're not ready for this. You're not ready for this." All this other stuff. I looked down. I'm like, I'm making this team, and I just had that mindset. Like I wasn't going into the situation having the same feeling of getting cut like the year before. So the tryouts were in Colorado Springs. You're there for like a month. If you make the team, you're there for a month. So you're playing against, you know, I think I was on the 16 under team. So I had the guys, 17 under team. So we had guys older than me and guys in my class: Jason Tatum, Harry Giles, De'Aaron Fox, Lonzo Ball, you know, some really good players at the time. And I just approached those trials with a whole different mindset. So I ended up making the team. Then you're there for another week before flying out to our first tournament was in Qatar. So we flew out to Qatar. That's when we're like practicing, playing the practice games, scrimmage games. Stayed in Qatar for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then we ended up doing the World Championships in Dubai.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that was before everybody was on Dubai. Y'all was out there early, huh?
Yeah. We were out there.
How was it out there?
It was amazing.
Wow.
It was definitely on the come up. Like you said, no one really knew about it at that point. But it's a great country. I mean, we walked around. We saw, you know, the world's tallest building. We went to the world's biggest mall. So it was just as a young kid, a 16-year-old. That was my first time out of the country as well. So it was just an amazing experience.
How was it winning the gold medal and then putting the? Did they play the national anthem when they gave all y'all medals?
They do. Yeah, it was a great experience, and it was a time where, you know, like I was saying before, like during high school basketball, you're used to being the best player on the team, you know, especially at that level. And during my time on this team, everyone has a role, and you see that with the Olympics that just went on this year. I mean, they pick players on the team based off of role, and that's it. They just want to win. So, and you have to excel at your role. If you do those things, you'll get on the court. And it was a great feeling winning with those guys.
Indeed, man. Good job, man. Good job. Team AAU, Team Scan. I know you played for team final
Yeah.
in your freshman year, but playing with Team Scan was your breakout year.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that year, man. After your sophomore season, right?
Yeah, it was after my sophomore high school season. Yeah.
How was that summer, man?
It was good. I mean, like everything, there was definitely some ups and downs. I know we had Bryce Aiken, Devontae Green, Sheck Diallo, Thomas Bryan on the squad. So we had a good team. But we didn't start off well. We started off, we lost. We were 0-4 in the first tournament.
Mm-hmm.
We were like 1-2 in the second, and then the last 2 tournaments before Peace Jam, I think we pretty much won. We went 3-4 and 4-4. So we started, figuring each other out, playing together well, And it's hard, when you put guys like that together in a short amount of time, it's hard to get that to gel together.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time Peace Jam came around, we were hooping. I mean, we finally figured each other out. And I think we lost in the semifinals of Peace Jam, but
I was pissed, bro. I was watching that on TV. I was pissed for 2 reasons. One, they stopped passing you the ball and you was hot.
Yeah.
I was pissed. Y'all was playing the players.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, why they won't give him the ball? The second one was why y'all had – I was trying to call Munch on his phone and he wouldn't answer the phone. Why y'all had your zone out so far?
Yeah, I know.
Like, bro, why are you chasing them going out so far and they just was backdooring y'all?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, why you ain't just pack it in and just make them shoot threes? Why are you going out so far? I was so mad at y'all.
Nah, yeah, we had a good team. I mean, I think too, like before that game, I think Sheck had like a back issue, like like back spasm or something. So he was struggling. So and we needed Sheck. I mean, he very good player. So, but I know
I was hot. I was hot at y'all, bro.
Yeah, Briscoe had a great game that game.
Yeah.
And
they was just getting in the creases of y'all zone, bro.
Man.
And I'm like, yo, what are you doing, man? Back up. Why are you going out so far?
Man.
I was trying to call him. He wouldn't answer the phone. He was terrible, man. But I got some, I got some clips from them, bro.
Yeah, that was it's crazy too. During that time, I had to figure out my role. And I think in the beginning of the year, I was a little struggling with it because I'm used to being on the ball. That. Yeah, so I think by the end of the year, I was like, all right, every 3 I get, I'm putting it up and it's going in. So I mean, I shot great during that during Peach. I think I shot like 50-something% from 3 during those games. So, but we were just
I was hot when they wasn't. I was hot then, man. And then the next year, of course, you had your injury, man. The next AAU season, and I remember talking to your dad. It was a tough time during that time. You know what I mean? And it was. I'm glad that you worked it back. So now let's bounce back. You out of college. I mean, you out of high school now. You got to make your decision. And at first, you committed to the University of Michigan. Now, how did that happen? And what went into that commitment?
Well, so I forgot what all 4 schools I went to first. I think it was Duke. I took my official to Duke. Duke, Michigan. I think Louisville I took an official to. And it was one of the school I'm forgetting. But I took 4 officials. At that time. Say again?
You went to Kentucky?
No, I actually took Kentucky off my list. They weren't in my Final Five.
Okay.
So the last visit I did was Michigan. That was my 4th visit. I didn't take a official to Syracuse at the time. So I ended up committing to Michigan. I fell in love with the school. I mean, Coach Bleon's an amazing coach. You know, I think the year before they went to the national championship. You know, they had a really good squad. So I just really enjoyed the school, and the academic piece fit, the athletic piece fit. But then, so I committed. So then a couple weeks later, my mom was like, my mom was on me because I promised my mom I'll take all 5 visits. She was on me about it. So she was like, how do you know, like, you're not going to love Syracuse more? Like, you didn't even give him a chance to take the visit. So I spoke to Coach Bean. I'm like, all right, I'm going to decommit because, you know, my mom's on me about this. I'm going to check out Syracuse and see how I feel. So my official visit to Syracuse, I fell in love with it. Honestly, I did. I fell in love with it. I went to a game. One of my first games at Syracuse was the Duke versus Syracuse game.
Yeah, I was supposed to go to that game. Yeah, I couldn't go. I was supposed to go with y'all.
Yeah, Duke versus Syracuse, the first one, and it was 30,000 people in the dome. It was the overtime game. It was one of the best college games I've ever watched, and I just fell in love with it. And I'm a Northeast kid, you know, and those connections really matter later on in life.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Once you get out,
it matters. It matters. So I run into people all the time who just love Syracuse. I mean, the fans there are amazing. You know, the connections I've made there are lifelong connections.
I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I was a diehard Syracuse fan.
I remember the talks in the car.
Yeah, but I wanted you to go to Michigan, bro.
Yeah.
I wanted you to go to Michigan. I just saw their offense.
It fit.
It fit you.
It did.
And I saw Karis LeVert.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, he could play like him.
Yeah.
And I just didn't think Syracuse, you know, I was a diehard Cuse fan. I just didn't think they was gonna run enough stuff for you. And I thought that Tyus, you there?
Yeah, I get you.
Man, my bad. It's just that's when you do this online stuff.
Oh yeah, the connection.
God's probably telling me you don't need to be talking about Syracuse. No, but I just thought that it was gonna be difficult, man. I was like, no, but then I went, man. I can't front. I'm just a real person. I wanted you to go to Michigan, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm a diehard Cuse fan.
It did. Michigan fit. It fit it checked all the boxes. I mean, and that's how they recruited me as. I mean, Karis LeVert was actually the person who brought me around, and we play alike and stuff like that. So I mean, I really did enjoy. I loved Michigan. I loved it, but just you know, Syracuse is just.
Now I ain't gonna lie. When I went up to the Dome, I love going up there too. This and that, you know what I mean. And me and your dad talked about this, so I ain't telling him nothing that I ain't telling you nothing that I ain't tell him. I just was like, when I looked at your game and I saw how they played, I was like, yo, this fits. You get what I'm saying? But I understand being a Northeast guy, man. So now you at the Cuse, you select Syracuse, and I went up to the Carrier Dome. Tell me, what was the main things that really drew you to going there?
I mean, mainly just the atmosphere. The atmosphere and being from, you know, the area. It was a close. I mean, I didn't want to go too far away from home because I know how much my dad would want to go to the games. You know, my mom wanted to go to the games. But I also didn't want to be too close because they'll be there too much. So
yeah, that's definitely a nice enough hike away.
Yeah.
I get it.
So I mean, it was a good distance. I mean, it was a 4-hour drive. And I loved it. I mean, we were going on to my freshman year. We were preseason ranked. We were supposed to be pretty good that year. We ended up not, you know, having the season we thought we should have had. But it was all a learning experience for me. I mean, going on into the season, I didn't start.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't playing much.
Mm-hmm.
And then, some things happened where I got my chance, but I approached every practice. I was, every practice was an audition, to get a spot to play in the game.
Now
And
you scored double digits in 16 times.
mhm.
Scored a career high 23 points against Clemson. You end up averaging 12 points a game. All ACC academic team. During this time you sitting there, did you ever cross the mind of like, damn, I should have went to Michigan, or did you ever feel like that Boeheim and them wasn't giving you the opportunity that they promised, or what was going through your mind during that time?
I mean, I think during winter break, we were really struggling. I think we lost like 3 or 4 in a row. And, my dad would have these long talks with me. He wasn't sure about Syracuse at this point, stuff like that. But I told him, I'm going to figure this thing out. I'm going to figure it out. And then I think during the winter session, during the ACC time, we ended up playing Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
We played Virginia at the Dome, and this is for Coach Bam's 1,000th win. They didn't take it away.
Yeah, that was whack.
And so the Virginia game was actually my high that year. It was we beat them at the Dome. I had 24 points. That was my real breakout game.
Mm-hmm.
And from there on,
and they was ranked in the country, right? Number 6.
They were ranked. I think they were ranked high, top 10, definitely.
Yeah.
Top 10. So we beat them at the Dome at 24. And then from there on, just like my freshman year with the Matha, it's just I got that confidence, and I just started building off that. And I know the last like 10 or 12 games of the season, I was averaging 18 points a game. So I started off as a guy who didn't play that much to a guy I was the second scoring option on the team by the end of the year. So and I really do think we hit our stride at the right time at Syracuse. I really do think my freshman year, if we would have made the tournament that year, we would have beat a lot of teams.
Indeed. Next up came that sophomore year, man. Averaged close to 20, all ACC second team. Led the nation in minutes, 39 minutes per game. You wasn't never coming out the game, huh?
No, I never came out. Never came out. Never came. I mean, it would be 40, but I got hurt. I landed on my back 7 minutes into a game against Toledo, I think, and I came out in that, and it would have been 40 minutes again.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did it feel being in the because when the Carrier Dome is packed, it's like one of the best atmospheres in college basketball, period. When you the man on a squad, because you was the go-to man at this point.
Yeah.
And,
I mean,
and all those people in there cheering for you, like, how do that feel?
I mean, it was good, but it's all based off your preparation. Like you gotta be prepared for this. So going into my sophomore year, like my freshman year, we had some amazing games at the Dome. I saw the atmosphere. We beat Duke at home. By the buzz, we beat Florida State. We beat Virginia. I had a game winner against Clemson my freshman year. So all those things prepared me. And then going into my sophomore year, I knew I was gonna have a bigger role, kind of like high school. It was freshman year, I had to learn. It was up and down. And sophomore year, this is the time you take over. So going into my sophomore year, I mean, the coaching staff there, they're the ones that really got me ready. I mean, it was 5:30 practices, workouts, individual workouts every morning the whole entire summer. I didn't really go home much at all. I just stayed in the gym, and I told myself mentally, I made a checklist, and I told myself I'm not missing out on the tournament again. I mean, my freshman year, I missed that. We went to the NIT. And even though we had a lesser team my sophomore year, on paper, I told myself we're not going to the NIT. So
you made sure y'all got it done, huh?
Yeah, it was, and even that year, my sophomore year was up and down. I wasn't really sure we were gonna make it. I mean, by the end of the year, I wasn't really sure we were gonna make it. We started off really good on non-conference. During ACC play, it was up and down. So during Selection Sunday, I wasn't even sure. No one knew. And then when we heard our names called, it was an amazing feeling. Probably one of my favorite basketball experiences in my life. Just hearing the name Syracuse basketball called in the
that's dope. That's dope.
So then going into the tournament, we felt like the way we approached that game, that team, we just felt like no one could beat us. It felt like no one could beat us. So we had a tough road. We beat Arizona State in the play-in. And then first game of the tournament, we beat TCU.
Mm.
And then we ended up playing Michigan State in the Sweet 16 in Michigan. So it was a home game for them. And they had a really good squad. We ended up beating them there. Then we ended up playing Duke in the Sweet 16, losing them by
I remember that
2 or 3 points. We should have beat them. There was so many things. When I look back at that game, there's so many little like layups we missed and stuff like that. But at that time, no one wanted to see us. No one wanted to see us in the tournament at that time. We were just a confident team.
One thing about Syracuse is that the zone gives teams problems in the tournament.
It does,
because a lot of teams
they don't see it.
They don't see it. But I was worried when Syracuse moved to the ACC from the Big East because the ACC has a lot more skilled shooters and stuff than the Big East had back in the day.
Yeah.
So that same zone would have worked. It used to work in the Big East because a lot of Northeast guys wasn't really shooting jumpers. It was about dribbling to the hole. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I knew when we went to that ACC, we might be in some trouble because they're gonna have some.
It's different because the ACC. The thing about the ACC, and it might be the only conference when I really think about it, maybe the Big Ten too. It's like every team you play against is so different than the next. It's a variety of teams in ACC, and everyone defends. Everyone's well coached. Everyone's very skilled. They make threes, like you said.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying.
It's not like SEC. They play fast. They try to get up and down. They score a lot. You know what you're gonna run into an SEC team. You know, Big East, they do what they do. But ACC, I think it's just all around. We're just a very complete conference, which is why we always make runs. Even this year in the past tournament, you know, we only had four ACC teams going to the tournament, which never happens. You know, when I was there, we had 9. And all 4 went to the Sweet 16. So it's like I think they're prepared and they're well coached and they're always ready to play.
I remember I came down and saw y'all play against Duke that year. Yeah, I think it had to be a sophomore year when Bagley and them was there. What year you was?
Yeah, that was sophomore. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw y'all play at Cameron. That was my time when I got to go to Cameron Indoor. I was down there.
Yeah, we lost that one.
I know. I was down there. It was. I got a chance to been. So I've been to Cameron Indoor. I've been to Cameron Indoor. I've been to Carrier Dome, and I've been to Rump when they had Calipari. So that counts. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Now, so which one's your best in your opinion?
The Cuse was, I don't know. Duke was crazy. All of them was good. All of them was kind of different.
It's all different. Yeah.
I didn't know like Duke was. I didn't know how it was set up. How the students get to sit down and the press and the people sit up top.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's like a high school game.
Yeah. And then how they announced Coach K at the end.
Oh, yeah.
But everybody already out there. Because I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, where they coach at? Like, he ain't out here?
Yeah.
Then they get everything all hyped up.
They go crazy. And then do some fun atmosphere.
But the Carrier Dome was like, I should have put up the pictures when I went there with your dad and them, man. I was like a kid because I always wanted to go see the Dome. I tell you, I was a Syracuse fan from Sherman Douglas and Pearl Washington.
Yeah.
Back then, I cried when Derek Coleman missed that 1-and-1, bro, and we lost to Indiana.
Oh, man.
Smart hit the jumper in the corner. On the corner, I cried, bro. I remember that. I cried, man. That was back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, hold up, where we was at? Yeah. So now your sophomore year, I had brought up some stuff. I saw some clips from you playing then. You know what I mean? This like throughout the career.
Battle pumps up the three.
Look at
that. Rocking the rim. Tyus Battle brings them out of their seats.
I'll turn it over there. Orange on the run. Battle. Contested. Now they've got a 3-on-1. Here's Battle with the throwdown.
Down goes Williams and one.
Wow, what a move by Battle.
Howard into the lane.
Battle nifty inside and a slam for Tyus Battle. 3 from the corner. That's a big shot.
The old Shaker said you get to a spot and just shoot over. Nice steal by Battle. And a finish. Battle against Walker. Ooh, lines it up. Knocks it down. It's a 3.
How about that? The stare down on number 4, too.
Great shot.
Yeah, you was cooking back then, man. when you going through that, playing on that kind of level, man, what's the emotions and the feeling that's going through your body and your mind at that time?
Man, at that time, I was trying to win. And anything I could have done to win games, and you know, sometimes when I look back on it, it could have maybe hurt me because, like you said, you know, it was a lot of isolation. You know, sometimes I had to take some tough shots where I knew I wasn't going to make. I used to be
watching you.
Yeah.
I used to get mad, like,
yeah,
they got to make this a little easier for my boy, man. Like,
yeah. It wasn't the easiest, but and it was a lot of up and down. I mean, especially as a college student at Syracuse, you know, so much of your enjoyment depends on if you're winning games or not.
Oh, so yeah, up there, yeah, because it was. You guys got a lot of snow. It's cold up there and everything. Huh?
It's cold, you know. And at the time, I was in a tough major too, so I really had to do some schoolwork, you know.
He said I really had to do.
So it wasn't easy. I wasn't taking no breaks, you know. So, but at the end of the day, I look back and I really enjoyed that year. I mean, that whole team balled in. I mean, we were so focused, and the biggest thing is like everyone just did their role. Everyone just had their role, and we stuck to it, and we accepted it. You know, we none of us ever got jealous over another player.
That's dope. That's dope.
And that's the reason why we were able to make that run. I mean, we weren't the best team on paper, but you know, teams did not want to play us. Teams did not want to play us.
Get to the junior year, 18 points a game, breakout game against Duke. Finish your career with 1,647 points, man. Talk about that junior year.
So leaving after my sophomore year, I end up, you know, testing the waters a little bit. You know, I was really trying to decide like if I should, you know, go back, just put my name in the draft and or come back my junior year. Going into my junior year, we had everyone back, and we also added a kid, Elijah Hughes, who's a very good player as well.
Remember him?
Yeah. So, and also the biggest reason I went back is because I was expected to graduate in 3 years. So I said, all right, I'm gonna go back to school. We're supposed to have a better team. You know, I can get my degree because I know how important that is. So I went back to school, and you know, it was a good year. I mean, you know, we were definitely a better team than the year before, you know, but you know, with the tournament things, you just never know. So the tournament, I think we were a 7 seed. We ended up playing Baylor, who was an 8 seed, and starting off the game, they go come out and hit like 6 threes in a row coming out the game. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And actually at that time, our point guard wasn't playing in the tournament. He couldn't play. So it was.
Who was the point guard then?
Frank Howard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he was missing. So and he averaged the year before sophomore year, he averaged like 14 a game. So that's a big loss. So they started the game hitting 16 threes in a row. I'm like, all right, here we go. You know, when teams start shooting against you in the zone, we don't come out the zone. So I'm talking about they're shooting from like the circle.
Well, you don't got to tell me. You know how many times I yelled at the TV for y'all to come out of the zone, bro?
Man, they were shooting, making everything. So that game, we and they ended up making, I think, 16 threes against us that game.
Mm.
We only lost by like 4 points. Like if we would have just done a couple little things, and actually going into the tournament too, I didn't play for 3 weeks because I ended up getting hurt against Clemson. I fell on my back, had a bone bruise.
I remember that. I
didn't play in the ACC tournament, or anything else like that. So my first game back was the first game of the tournament, and it was in I think it was in Utah. So the air was thin. You know, it was tough, but it is what it is. You know, you live and you learn. But during my time at Syracuse, I enjoyed it. And for me to score 1647 in those 3 years is amazing.
But what happened with like during the senior year? You just ain't had no more interest in it. Like, why didn't you do a senior year?
I mean, because at that time, it's so different. Like, it's crazy how basketball goes. I mean, I wasn't getting paid. There was no NIL. I graduated already. And at that time, it wasn't like how it is now that the NIL is available. Now, the NBA, they like players who come in and they're ready. It's usually they'll pass on a freshman a little bit for a player who's a little bit older. At that time, it wasn't like that. So if you're a junior, senior, at that time,
they was looking at you like you must not be
old. Like you're old.
Yeah.
And you know, and I knew my game. I was a scorer, you know, and it's not always easy at the NBA level just to go in as a scorer because you have guys who they pay a lot more money.
That already does that. Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of guys run into that problem. You know, NBA is all about fit. It's all about you have to find the right situation, find the right team. And you got to get lucky at the end of the day because there's a lot of good players around this in this world, you know, and a lot of guys who are more than capable of playing the NBA. So I was just like, you know, I'm going to bet on myself and go do this thing.
Now let's take a look at that 32-point game performance against Duke. You know what I mean? During that last year.
As they played that position and played it at a high level when Trey was growing up. In assists per game. And a 6-to-1 assist turnover ratio.
He's the second best in the country. Battle with a couple of buckets, one on a drive, one from outside. He has 5 quickies.
Anytime you can get penetration in the middle of a zone, that is very, very debilitating. And that's an interesting place to get the ball, that read spot down along the baseline.
Who held his ground.
All right, Syracuse needs to attack. Without Trey Jones in there, they don't have a lot of pressure on the ball. They're not getting picked up right away.
R.J. Barrett, the foul. And Syracuse, which looked like it was going to get blown out of the building, right out of the chute, has a chance to make it a 2-point game. From the Bronx, most highly touted Syracuse freshman. They thought they were going to have Darius Baisley. Wow, with the shot clock running out.
And that was really well run by Syracuse.
Air ball out of the corner from Goldwire is now 0 for 11 for the year from 3. And battle the other way. Jay Barrett, the leading scorer in the ACC, has 17, averaging 23.4 for the year. Battle, nicely done. Strong drive, softly off the glass.
He's just so difficult to contain in the middle of that zone. He's a one-man wrecking crew. Boy.
Man, so when you sum it up, man, like, talk about your Syracuse career. Like, I know I said what I said earlier, but that's where you went and you had a ball, and I love watching you. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's get to it. Like, sum it all up, man. How did you?
You know what? When I look back at it, I love Syracuse. I mean, and I tell people all the time, of course, you know, you always want to find a perfect situation. You know, if I went to Michigan, I don't know what would have happened. Actually, during my college career, Coach Beeline ended up leaving to go to the Cavaliers. So that would have been my junior year. So you just never know what your situation is going to be. But at the end of the day, you know, I loved it. And it helped me grow as a player, as a man. You know, a lot of players, you know, they walk into a college situation and they might not have the green light. You know, Coach Mayheim entrusted me with the green light. And,
that's true. That's true. That's true.
And I loved it. And like I said, with the connections, I mean, there's so many people. I travel around the world playing basketball, and there's so many people who are Syracuse basketball fans. And
we definitely had a crazy fan base.
Man,
But I left Syracuse, bro. And the reason I left when he was winding down his career, and I understood why he did what he did. But I was pissed, bro. When his sons was there, he ain't really recruit no players, man. And we started getting smacked around, bro.
Yeah. I mean, the last couple
and
years
I was like, yo, what is he doing? And I understood it.
Broke out.
Yeah, I'm back, man. This thing is
every talk about Syracuse, see?
I know, man. That's the Syracuse guy. I'm sorry, Mr. Bayhive. I'm sorry, Mr. Bayhive. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, Mr. Bayhive. I'm sorry, Mr. Bayhive. He got a glitch. He got a what's the name of my joint, man? But you know what I mean? But I had some great moments watching Syracuse, man. They was always on the what's the name, man. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I just was hurt during that time, man.
Yeah.
Because I saw our team and we looked terrible, and I just was like, ugh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I do hope Red get it back to where it should be. I hope they give him a shot, because a lot of times when especially African-American coaches replace a legend,
it's hard.
Sometimes they get fired soon because they're not going to be able to compare to what that legend did. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, the last couple of years was definitely tough. Definitely, we weren't the same. We weren't playing to the same caliber, I would say. I mean, but when I look back at it and I look at Coach Boeheim's career, those last 2 seasons was his first 2 losing seasons of his career.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Which is, for a guy who coached 40 plus years, is like, it's amazing. And I think Coach Red, I mean, they had a 21 season last year. With some young guys, all sophomores. They didn't get the chance to make the tournament, but I think Coach Red, especially for his first year, that's an amazing accomplishment, getting 20 wins. So
yeah, I hope Red get it done, man. I hope Adrian Autry definitely get it done, man.
Yeah, I think he will. He's definitely a player's coach. People enjoy playing for him. People definitely enjoy playing for him. And that's half the battle when you're a coach. It's half the battle.
Indeed. Playing for Coach Boeheim.
I loved it. I know, same like my dad, Coach Cena, Coach Boeheim, he loves the game of basketball. And sometimes the way he might talk or say things, people might not like that. But he's very honest. Like, there's one thing I know about Coach Boeheim, he's an honest guy. Like, he does not sugarcoat anything. And
what was one of the most amazing things you learned about him?
I mean, I would say how much he studied the game. Like, he studied the game so much. And this is coming from, he's an older guy, and off the court, he's a completely different guy than on the court. Like, off the court, he doesn't yell, he's chilling, in front of his TV, just watching basketball all day long. But when he gets into practice, into games, he's just a completely different person. And I think that just shows his love for the game. I mean, and what he's done for the Syracuse community up there, helped so many guys who came through. If anytime I need help or other teammates need help in the past, you can come back and he would always help, give you a job there, stuff like that. And recently I went back because they honored him for his retirement. All the fans there. I mean, it was a special moment because you had the players there, the older players, and you had the fans there just for him. And, when someone has that much of an impact in the university, not just the university, but in the community, it shows how good of a person you really are.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Mr. Boeheim, I'm sorry, man. Please don't mess up my StreamYard no more. I'm just trying to get through the interview. I apologize. I might come back, man. Might come back, man. Next up, man. Your brother Caleb went to Butler, went to Temple. Did a total like a different thing than you. You know what I mean? And y'all had different personalities. What's going on with him now? Where do you see his future and how did you? What do you think about his journey?
Yeah, we are like we have completely different personalities. It's like we are polar opposites, but the one thing we both do is score the ball, and he scores it at
he
an
definitely
extremely high level. He shoots the ball at an extremely high level and makes tough shots. And his basketball journey has definitely been different than mine. I mean, I left after 3. He's about to do his 6th year in college. He's
Where he's
always
at now?
He's on Gonzaga this year.
Wow.
Yeah, they have a really good squad. But he always approaches the game with a chip on his shoulder. And I think that comes from just, a lot of that has to do with the way my dad prepared us, I would say. Like, we're super competitive people, and but the one thing we also do is we're always there for each other. Like,
and he had to play in your shadow.
Yeah,
that's enough to make him have a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah. So I mean, he's done an amazing job. A lot of people, that's tough. That's tough for a lot of people, but he's done amazing. He watched my games, watched my situations, and learned from those mistakes. And I talk to him all the time about it. I watched all his games. I try to get to when he was at Temple. I went to every single game when I was hurt. And I'm really excited for this year for him. Because he's definitely had his ups and downs. This is gonna be his 4th.
My man, the K-Man.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a good year for him.
Indeed, man. Hopefully, I could get him on here, soon during the season or something like that, man. Next up, when you was young, man, we gave you the moniker, the Kid Mamba, and then you finally got a chance to meet Kobe, man. How was that moment, and what was going through your mind and stuff then, man?
Man, that was a special moment for me because growing up, everyone has that player that they emulate. They always look up to, and Kobe was my guy, man. So
yes, he was.
I used to stay up all hours of the night because Lakers play late at night, 10:30. Stay up and watch the games. My dad would be telling me to go to bed. I got to wake up for school the next morning. I'll be sneaking up, staying and watch the games. I remember I used to watch all the YouTube videos. Even in college, I had my regimen, and there was a 20-minute long Kobe video I used to watch before every single game. And just the way he approached the game, the love he had for the game is special. It's special. And for me to meet him in person, he's the type of guy too. He's very on the court, you wouldn't think he's very approachable, but I met him at the Nike Skills Academy, answered all our questions, but even though he was answering it, you could see why he is the way he is. And some people are wired a little differently, the way they approach things in life and the way they approach things. And he had that, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady type wiring. Like everything he did he's trying to do it at the highest level possible.
Where was you at? And how did you feel when you heard that he passed away?
I was in the G League at the time with the Iowa Wolves. Honestly, when I saw it, I thought it was a joke. Like I thought it was a joke. I didn't believe it was real. And it's crazy because that summer too, I was working out at the Mamba Academy. His thing he has up there. So I thought it was a joke because I heard he was flying to the Mamba Academy for a tournament or something like that, or I think flying to it or from it. But it was crazy. It was crazy.
I had a tournament that day, and the whole gym you just saw the solace in the gym, like the sadness, the silence. It was just everybody just was like Mark Jackson that played for the Sixers. He was there. He had an emotional moment. It was just like the tournament wasn't the same.
Yeah, it's not. It wasn't.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? It wasn't the same. Like it was crazy, man.
And it shows, it shows, how big of an impact he had on people. And it was people who didn't know nothing about basketball. And they were heard about Kobe's passing. And so it was just like he just had an impact, a big impact on people's lives, And it's rare for a human being to affect people in that way.
Now your professional career. Now you've been thrust into the national spotlight from 5th grade and projected to do a lot of things. And when it was time and you didn't get drafted in the NBA, how did you handle that? Did you expect that to happen, or what was your mindset going into that, and how did you handle that when that didn't happen?
I mean, it was definitely tough for me. It was definitely tough because, you know, as a kid, you dream of hearing your name called. You know, that's just something you dream of. So going into that pre-draft process, it was definitely up and down. I ended up getting hurt. So I started off the workouts. I had a strong workout with Minnesota, and I ended up hurting my foot during that workout. So I was going throughout the workouts with I think I strained the bottom of my foot or something like that. So it was just tough from there on out. And I think there was times like the combine, I didn't approach it the right way. You know, I was overthinking things. You know, I wasn't playing my game. And, you know, as you go throughout your career and as you get older, you know, sometimes it's really true. You only have one opportunity, you know. And, you know, as a younger kid, okay, it's like you have multiple opportunities, but as you get older and that those margins get smaller, sometimes just one opportunity. So I definitely could have done better in the draft process, and you know, that's something I definitely look back on, and you know, I definitely learned from it. But I think it also helped me throughout my career because, you know, at the next stage, everyone's always trying to work for a promotion. You know, everyone's always trying to work for that bigger job. You know, the G League, there's some dogs in the G League, and I went on a team where we had 7 NBA assignment guys, so NBA guys who are already signed on the team, and that was the year when they made the trade for, I think they traded for D'Angelo Russell or something like that, and they brought other guys in as well. So it was just it was hard. It was hard. During that time, I was playing out of position, and it was tough on my mental. I think that was maybe the toughest mental year for me, basketball-wise. While on the court, it was difficult for me. You know,
Did you, besides your family, because I knew they was there, did you feel that other people that was around you or in contact with you when that dream didn't come in reality, was all those other people still there, or did you start to see people like vanish away and stuff like that?
I mean, I was always I was never a super outgoing.
Yeah, you definitely was an introvert.
I'm an introvert. I really am. True. Even to this day, I still am. But so I always kept my circle really small.
Okay.
You know, I mean, you know, I'm always friendly with people, but I don't get too close with people because I know how people are. You know. My circle always was there with me. I think throughout the whole entire process. And you know, when things like this happen, when you go through your little bumps in the road, it really shows you who's there with you. You know,
exactly, because I went through a lot when y'all was growing up.
Yeah,
I was going through a lot.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, I know you know. I know your dad told you what stuff that was going on. So I understand that wholeheartedly. So then you decide to go. You play overseas. Talk about the countries you've been to. Which ones you like the best? Which ones that wasn't that fun? Like, give us the whole breakdown of your international career.
Man, so my professional career it's been definitely a journey so far. So my first year out, I went to the G League. Then COVID happened. COVID happened, and it's kind of crazy. I went through some agency changes and stuff like that. So I ended up signing with a new agent after my G League season. I just felt like I wasn't putting the right scenarios. You know, I was playing a 4. It was crazy. So yeah. So but the thing is too, when I look back on it, you know, there's guys when you're trying to make a team, you got to do those things.
That's what Mark Jackson told me when I interviewed him during COVID.
You have
he said that the toughest part is players think that they don't want to do those other rules.
Yeah, the game's not going to conform to you. You got to conform to the game.
Yeah.
You know? So, and I look back, and a guy like a perfect example is Bruce Brown. Went to Miami. He's a guard, played a point guard position, goes to Brooklyn, and he's playing the 4. You know, they're playing small ball. He's guarding guys. He's not really, you know, handling the ball much. And then he gets to Denver, and he's back at the guard position. Like for me, I think it was tough because, like I said, always had a scoring mentality, and for me, just playing the floor and having them being like, okay, we just want you to sit there, you know, be a 3-and-D guy. It was tough for me a little bit. So, looking back on it now, I know I can make that transition. You know, so going into my second year playing, my new agent, he just wanted me to, you know, feel like myself again. So I ended up signing with a team in Russia, and it was my family was not, man, they were not prepared for me to leave to go to Russia for my first time, you know, playing professionally outside the country. And I ended up playing for a team in Siberia. So it was negative 45 there, cold.
I was about to say.
Oh, negative 45. No one spoke English. You know, it's not Moscow. Moscow, people speak English. It's nice, you know, stuff like that. But, you know, I made that. I took that risk. You know, starting up the season, it was a little rough because the international basketball style of play is very different than the United States. So it was definitely a little tough. You know, I went through my times where, because I was stuck in an apartment, and then the second game of the season, I get COVID. And during that time, when you got COVID, you couldn't leave. You had to quarantine for 21 days. So I was stuck in my apartment in Russia for 21 days, couldn't leave. I had to Uber Eats. So I'm trying to communicate with the guys on the phone to bring my food in Russian. So it was a struggle. But I think once I started to understand the playing style and I started making friends there, they showed me around, I started playing really well, and I really enjoyed my first year outside the country in Russia.
Indeed. And where else did you play at? This looked like this was like in Japan or something?
Yeah, so first year was in Russia, and then my next year I ended up going to Italy, play for Dinamo Sassari. And then from Dinamo Sassari, I changed teams mid-season and went to Israel, finished out strong in Israel. And unfortunately, I ended up breaking my foot right before playoffs in Israel. So I broke my foot. And during the break, I mean, they were, you know, I was out there. I didn't get surgery out there. They were telling me, oh, you could play on it, stuff like that. I couldn't play on it. So I told them I'm not playing. And then a month later, I ended up going back to the United States, and they tell me, okay, you need to get surgery on this right away. So I got surgery on it. It was supposed to be like a 3 to 4 month rehab process to play again. I got a plate put in my foot. The plate didn't mesh well with my foot. I had to get another surgery. So I ended up taking a total recovery of 10 months.
Wow, bro.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
Yeah, so it was rough for me. So, and then after that, I ended up signing to a French team towards the end of the season because they were, you know, struggling, and they just wanted to stay in first division. So I signed there, and just for me to get my legs back underneath me. Then that summer, I ended up playing in China, and that was the last place I played before I hurt my knee.
Yeah, man. That's at least you got to see the world. You got to do a lot, man. That's wealth of experience, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's finish up now. Let's talk about some of the things that the college is going through now, and get your opinions on it. NIL, what you think about it?
I think it's great. I mean, now athletes don't have to rush, you know, to leave college. They can enjoy their college experience while getting paid. And as a college athlete, people think it's a cakewalk. It's not. Like you have to do schoolwork just like the normal college students. Now you're there all summer long during winter break, and then you have the pressure of winning games, you know, stuff like that. So, and I always tell people, like, if you're an amazing musician or amazing painter in college, you know, you don't have people. If you want to make money doing those things, you can make money. But as an athlete, you're good at basketball or good at football or good at baseball, you can't make money. Like it didn't make sense. So I'm happy guys are getting paid now.
If you would have had it, you would have played that fourth year?
100%. 100%. And this is the biggest thing. Like as athletes, we have a very small window.
Yeah.
It's not like you have a career like you're being like a lawyer where you're just doing this thing forever. Like athletes, you have a very small window, and until your body starts giving up on you, you know, and you just never know. So you want to capitalize on that as much as possible at a young age, and I think that's what you're able to do now with NIL.
Next up, transfer portal.
I think it's good as well. I think it's good. I think it's good. I mean, because and more so speaking, because say I went to Michigan and then Coach Beeline left, the guy that recruited me to go there. You know, that puts me in limbo. You know, I don't know if I'm going to transfer. I don't know who they're bringing in. You know, so I feel like if coaches are able to leave whenever they want, you should have the kid be able to leave. You know, so I think it's good because it's hard. I mean, you might go into a situation you're not playing. You know, they're not playing you the way you want to play, and I don't think that should hinder your career just because you know you transfer to another school.
What percentage do you think have the players going in on their own versus the coaches telling them they need to go in?
A lot. I mean, I think it's 50-50. Honestly,
coaches don't be playing, huh?
They don't, especially now. Especially now because now you're messing with money. Like it's money now. So now it's really like you're a professional. Like if I'm not playing well, you know, or a player doesn't play well, they get traded. The same thing. Like, and if a player feels like they're worth more money than the team's giving them, they test the market. It's the same exact thing. So you really got to treat it like a professional. You really do. And you got to worry about your own career because, you know, I know personally, like I've had 4 surgeries in the past 2 years. Your career could be short, you know, and you got to capitalize on it while you can.
Now, do you think it takes away the essence of like college basketball in terms of teams, like, you know, the camaraderie you have with Syracuse being there for 3 years? With the fans getting to know you guys, they you know what I'm saying, y'all building like a family atmosphere up there. You became like a fabric of Syracuse. But in this situation, you don't know who's gonna be on the team next year.
That is true. I mean, I think it does hinder that a little bit, but like I said, I think you just have to approach it like a professional team. It really is. Like I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. Like, you know, every offseason I'm like, all right, who are we signing? You know, it's like one of those things. So I think I think a lot of fans just need to change their mindset.
Yeah.
You have to remember too, like if you're put in that situation, you're getting offered money to play somewhere else, a lot more money. You know, you got to do what's best for your career, your family, and your well-being. So
because that coach could leave at any time.
Coach could leave at any time.
And he ain't feeling nothing.
Yeah.
All right, final question. Give me your New Jersey high school Mount Rushmore of players you've seen with your own eyes, and you can include yourself if you want. Yeah, and you can include yourself if you want. You got four slots.
All right, so when I do Mount Rushmore, it depends on a lot, like winning and all that stuff. So I'm gonna put the whole group together. I'll definitely put Kyrie up there. Kyrie for sure. Kyrie. That I seen with my own eyes.
In high school.
Yeah, Kyrie at St. Pat's, he was different. I would put Carl up there too. Carl Towns, he's up there. I feel like I got to go with Briscoe. I mean, he had an amazing.
Okay.
Briscoe had an amazing high school career. I mean,
he did.
He really did. And he won a TLC. All those guys won TLC. So, last one. Oh, this one's tough. Man, that I seen with my own eyes. That last one's tough. I don't know who I put up there. I guess, I mean, I don't think anyone else won a TLC that I know that would play the great.
Trying to think about those years.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I know St. Benedict's was really good. Oh, you know what I put? Oh, why am I blanking on his name? St. Anthony's. You know who I'm talking about. I'm blanking right now.
Trying to think who you talking about. St. Anthony's.
I'm completely blanking.
Who he played with there?
Slow-mo.
Oh, Kyle Anderson?
Kyle Anderson. I don't know why I was blanking on his name.
So you got Kyle Anderson, Kyrie Irving.
I'm playing. Yep.
Carl Towns and Briscoe. Hey, I can't argue with that, man. I can't argue with that.
That I seen with my own eyes, at least.
Indeed.
Yeah,
I respect that.
To be up there, you got to win and you got to produce. You know, you got to produce and win, and those four guys definitely did that. And in the state of New Jersey, that's not easy to do because there's a lot of good players out here.
Indeed, man. So Tyus, man, I want to thank you for coming on, brother, man. Like, this has been definitely a joy for me and a joy to see you grow up into the man you become, and had a chance to watch you all the way through, just like I told the other young boys that came up. And if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did, because y'all made my brand look official by the way that y'all performed on the court, man. So I'm gonna give your family my love. I'm gonna send you the YouTube version of this as soon as we get off.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna send it to my app to get the highlights. I have them back tonight, and you're gonna get tired of me sending you Instagram clips from them.
Nah, that's great. That's great. I love it. I love it. I appreciate it.
All right, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks for coming on, man. And tell your brother I'm trying to get him on soon too, man.
I definitely will.
All right, thanks, man.
I appreciate it.
Oh, man. That was crazy. Every time I talked about Syracuse, my joint almost went off, man. Boeheim put a hex on my joint or something, man. But it was great talking to Tyus Battle, man. I got a couple of more guests coming on next week. So stay tuned next week for In the Spotlight podcast, and enjoy the rest of your night. My name is Mike. Shalom.